When we enable hybrid sites, we actually get more than one feature. We get three features. So when we enable hybrid sites, the first feature we get is the site following, which means that both the sites we follow on premises in SharePoint 2013 or SharePoint 2016 and SharePoint Online are going to be consolidated on the sites page in Office 365. We also get the profile redirection. So whenever a user clicks on a profile, they'll be redirected to the Delve profile of the user. In the past, if a user clicked on a profile on premises, it went to the My Sites on-prem, and if it clicked on the profile online, it went to the Delve online. So users were looking at two different profiles. It wasn't only one profile, and it wasn't an integrated experience that we would expect between two Microsoft products. Lastly, if you're running SharePoint 2016, and this is the feature that I told you is SharePoint 2016 only. All the rest that I'll show you today is going to be SharePoint 2013 and 2016, but the extensible app launcher is SharePoint 2016. The extensible app launcher will show you Office 365 Delve, video, and custom Office 365 tiles in the SharePoint 2016 app launcher. So when we looked before, when we had two followed sites, right? We had one in the My Sites and one online, and the one online only had SharePoint Online sites, and the one on-prem only had SharePoint on-prem sites. So users actually had to go to two different places to see all their followed sites. Now with the new hybrid sites functionality, you can see sites, for example, one from on-prem, one on Office 365, in Office 365, and you don't see the difference. You collaborate. As a user, you don't really care where that site is. You just want a place to be able to see all your followed sites, not having to check 20 places to find it. One thing to remember is that, and that's something to consider, it's more technical, I guess, but I really wanted you to be aware that you cannot activate hybrid sites without activating Hybrid OneDrive for Business. We're going to talk about Hybrid OneDrive for Business just next, but remember that you cannot activate only the hybrid sites feature. You need to have Hybrid OneDrive for Business as well. So let's go to the lab and show you what exactly are the hybrid sites functionality. So I'll close this. I don't need this anymore. I will go over here. And right here, let me refresh to make sure that everything is fast and ready to go. First thing, I'm in a SharePoint 2016 site. You know, it says SharePoint over here, so that means we're on SharePoint. And another tip, if you want, let me actually put this show tabs on a separate row. A way to find out if you're on-prem or online is that on-prem, you can have a custom domain. If you're online, it always finishes by .sharepoint.com, and that's something you cannot customize. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is open the app launcher, and this is the SharePoint 2016 extensible app launcher. As you see, instead of having only Newsfeed, OneDrive, and Sites, I also have Delve and Video that showed up there. I will click on the Sites, and instead of going to my on-premises sites, it went to Office 365, and again, you see it over here, Office 365, as well as in the URL that it finishes by .sharepoint.com. And it might be a bit small, I don't know what resolution you're on, but if you look at the bottom left of my screen right now, you see that the team site, the URL that it wants to go to is about SharePoint.sharepoint.com. So that's an online site. However, my team site over here goes to SharePoint.learn2016.com. So if I want to go back to my on-prem site, I follow the site, so I simply click on it, and it navigates me back to my on-prem site. If I want to follow a new on-prem site, let's go, I go to my on-prem subsite, and I want to follow it, I simply go to the site, and I will click on follow. It actually usually takes a few seconds, and that's even if you're using on-prem between the time that you click follow and the pop-up appears, but you see now it says, now following this site. I will go back to sites in Office 365, and you see I have on-prem subsite over here. If I go to a team site, so if I go to any other site, like say this site, I don't even know if I have access to it, and I follow it, and this is an Office 365 site. I go to my site section here, and I see both my online and on-premises sites at the same place. So I think that's a really cool feature for end users to be able to only check one page and be able to see what happens in all their favorite sites, whether they're on-prem or online. So that's we looked at two of the features. So we looked at the app launcher. Well, we don't see it right now. We looked at the followed sites as well as the extensible app launcher. So if I go to my app launcher here, I see the Delve and video tiles. And the other one is the profile. So I'll go to this document library, and that's all the slides from SP SharePoint Conference 2014, and I see, hey, the guy who uploaded them is Trevor. So if I click on Trevor Seward's name, it will actually get me to Trevor Seward's Delve profile because he's enabled for hybrid, I'm enabled for hybrid. So instead of having two different profiles, whenever I click on that name, on the profile name, I'll go to Delve and not to on-prem. So this again brings collaboration better because we don't have two places to check for our stuff anymore. We don't have two sites pages, we don't have two profile pages, we only have one in Office 365.